50 for that one. It gets rid of most of it, but there's still like edges of it. Now I'll go to 55 on this one, and that kind of gets rid of that little bit edge. I can't go much higher because you see I start turning ghostly. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Digital Paul Workshop. It is I, that storm that blocks out your satellite signal, Techno Meow Tinkerer. And today we're going to go into the video editor that I use, or at least how I edit my videos. And this is not going to be a totally in-depth because I could probably spend a good hour here editing the video, but we're going to give you a basic run-through. And as you watch my introduction video, you know I use Olive Video Editor as of right now. I have not upgraded to any other video editor. And so I'm using Olive. And so let's bring it on up here. Boom, chakalaka. This is, like I said before, is a very simple editor program, and it suffices me for right now. And so we're going to just go in here now. I have a default. It's called zero default, and the reason for the zero is put it at the top of the list in the folder that it's in, so if I ever need to get to it, I can get to it quickly. But in this default, I have everything pretty much set up that I normally use. I have my normal background, as you have seen before. Alright, come on, delete that off. Delete. I have my normal background with the window cut out. And then I have my ending panel. That way I have these already in here. I don't have to keep importing them in. And so like I'm going to now work on my digital Paul Krita video. Now for some of you, this video will be up. The video of me working in Krita will be up before me putting this video up. But this is going to be showing you how I edit the stuff. Okay, I just imported the two files in. I just drag and drop. You can kind of import it. But let me quickly grab the folder address. And I'm going to save project as. That way I don't interfere with my actual original file. Keep the default the same. And this is something I kind of learned over the years. For some reason I said hit one hotkeys for my facial feature, but I've kind of learned from working with graphic design, taking graphic design and video editing, to have a default, especially if something you're going to be using a lot, have a default setup, and then you're going to go into, and when you go into it, you want to save it separate so you don't interfere with your default. Now when I'm going to bring on down, I tend to bring my green screen video when I record myself on the green screen. I tend to hit the top layer. That way I rarely have anything that goes in front of this. So for the most part, I have everything behind it. So let's go ahead and bring on down this right here. I'm going to put it probably about mid layer. I probably could put it at the bottom because I don't think there's really that much of a difference. Matter of fact, let me go in before I get in too further. I got usually dead space at the beginning because I usually hit record, wait a moment, make sure I got myself centered, and like I said, let's see, making sure I got myself centered, and I think I did just to be on the safe side because sometimes I might be doing this number, trying to check and make sure everything's correct. So I try to get myself centered for the introduction. And just delete. Now one thing you got to remember with this, and before I go any further, undo that, is when I first dragged in here, all this is selected. And I could click this, which is also, if you look, it's the letter C on your keyboard. So a lot of times I'll hit the keyboard key. This right here is your pointer tool, is the V on your keyboard. And you got to click off here, then click here to delete. Because if you don't, you'll end up deleting everything. So I pulled it on over. Now the next thing, and let me move my, oops, don't do that. Let's see, here we go. Oop, I'm getting off screen. Try to get myself a little out the way here. Oh, let me see. Yeah, no, that's just the way I was originally doing it. You know, let's grab this side. There we go. And then we pull myself over. Yeah, I'm trying to do OBS editing at the same time. That way, because I want to pull this and make this large so you can, maybe you might can see. And let's scroll this back up and click on this. Because when you want to go in here on create on Olive, I'm about to say create I just did the create a video recording. And when you got green background or blue background, use chroma key is the colors. There's chroma key blue and chroma key green. Most like local news stations uses blue. That way, when the light hits the screen, it doesn't create a unusual color glow on anything around it, because most local news stations are small studios. But a lot of movies and stuff use the green one. So chroma key green. I don't know if you can see it with this one. I can see it on my monitor, but I have this little green glow around it. Now, as far as my tolerance levels, I found that if I go to 50 for that one, it gets rid of most of it, but there's still like edges of it. Now, I'll go to 55 on this one, and that kind of gets rid of that little bit edge. I can't go much higher because you see I start turning ghostly. So 55 I find to be a very good one for me on this one. Okay, let's go back up the windows, reset default layout. Let's put myself back to normal in OBS. And let's see where I need to bring in the creative video at. The Digital Paul Workshop is that piece of paint. Let's see, while you're hearing me talk, I'm going to change the speed duration. Let's see, let's do about 2 minutes. Let's zoom out. Photo editor, and this is me doing some of the designs for my. And so right now I'm trying to figure out. I'm listening in what I need to cut out, anything I need to do. As we watch the video here. Okay, that's where that was my key. Now sometimes I will give myself a key in my speech, or when I'm switching, when I need to switch over to what I'm working on, and sometimes I don't. Try to. So let's see. We can go and delete this on out. Oops. See what happens when I told you if you don't, everything's selected and you don't deselect and then select the thing. So we're going to need this right on in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlink. The link in unlink here is for the video and the audio. There ain't no audio here, and it's recorded from the computer and there was no sound, so it might actually have some electronics. I don't know what you call it, where it might have recorded some sort of just sound of nothingness from electronic device, because there's always some sort of hum or buzz or something in electronics. But I don't want that interfering. Now, because this is the start, I'm going to hit the C for my cut tool. I'm going to cut there, and then I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to cut here and here. Let's deselect this, because what I want to do, because I have this little dead space here at the beginning of me not talking, I'm going to actually speed this video up. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to ripple delete this, and I'm going to just extend this. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, let's see if we can see, I kind of give myself this little, I try to make sure when I have any dead space where I'm not going to speak, I try to position myself in a position before I speak again. That way I can go in, and let's see if we can find another spot. There should be a bigger one later on down. Yeah, there's one right here. So let's zoom in here and see right there and there. I'm not seeing no change in my movement. So we're just going to go through. Now, normally when I do this, I'll be listening to the whole video and doing this editing through the whole video. But this is to show you how I work. So no need for you to, if you've watched this video, no need for you to re-listen to it again. And so now I would actually reduce this in speed. And it's a judgment call sometimes, depending on how much of a gap that is. And now on the time-lapse videos, it's not quite as noticeable. Papaya might be a bit noticeable. I'm going to go up to 300 here. to try to cut down that gap a bit more. I'm going to delete that out, right click, ripple delete empty space, and then I'm just going to drag this over. So the gap is not that great between, I still got another one there, but so it won't be that great. So when you go through and you're watching it, you won't have that much dead time. Now, let me think. I still see a few things. I'm gonna actually go through and actually edit this as better, but just as a basic run through. Now, when this comes off, I'll probably pull this back in right here. Let me see where. Nope, I pretty much got it well hid at the time. And this is just something to get me started. Like I said, I'll probably go back in later. And so I'm trying to find out where I do my outro talk, where basically what I says like and subscribe type stuff. This is just a simple little adding some text to a background, because that's what this is going to be. This is the ending. And just doing a few effects and for anybody who's using this program and want to know how to add effects. Let me zoom in here. I see I got some dead space here at the end. I'm just going to get rid of the glows, the shadows. Get rid of some of that dead space. Well, I hope everybody... Okay, there's where my actual outro begins, or at least my ending statement. Again, so I'll put that there. Let's go and and there's different ways. I may actually have this on the line itself and just completely extend it, and then I'll go back in and stuff when I go to add this. So it's differently. I work kind of differently, but most of it's kind of similar, same. And so that would be how I would do the ending. That way I have all some of my information. And as things progress, this will probably be updated too. So let me, I'm going to pause my recording. I'm going to go through, edit, and render this, and then I'm going to show you the next step I do. Okay, I'm back for something quick, right? Because I forgot to mention something earlier. When I'm editing on Olive, so we're just going to quickly go back before I do the rendering. But you see, I got to click, when I click there and I click here, how it connects, but I don't have, it's not because of this line here. I can click here and here on editing. That's because I got this snapping tool here to make sure that these snap with each other. So when I go in and right click and I change the speed of this, it helps me by keeping everything joined together, because I can do this number and it snaps back to that, so it helps keeps me things lined up. So we rippled space and pull this back over. Another thing is, I'm not quite sure yet when I go through and listen to this whole video, but sometimes I do add an audio track, but a music track, especially if you watch my time lapse of blenders, because there's a lot of times there is a good amount of dead space, and no matter how much I do this, it just would look too out of place. And so I have music playing in the background to fill in that dead air. In which case I'll bring those audio tracks in and I'll put them down here. But because of the natural state of those audio tracks, they are too loud and you will not hear me. Now, I forgot to do it with this thing, but I'm going to probably do it right now. I'm going to go in and try to select all. Yeah, okay, that's all my audio. I've been trying to do it lately with some of my stuff. I've been trying to up my audio volume a little bit. Try to up it some, that way. It's not so you don't have to turn your speakers up quite so much. Especially when I realized when I was adding in the music track, even though I could lower the music tracks a good bit, I couldn't lower them too much without them not being audible at all. And I still want to make sure I was clear, so I've been trying to do that with some of my videos now, at least bring it up by 5 decibels. And I may up it up in the future. I really not want to up it because I don't want to catch up too much background noise from any static or type stuff. But now when I was doing the edit to this video, that 0 was good, because then it wasn't loud enough to overpower me, hopefully. I won't know for sure till I go to edit this video was I the same or different? Because it sounds different when you're recording. But let me finish editing this thing and I'll be back, and hopefully time for the rendering part. Okay, I'm back here now. I've kind of went through and did some editing, but I actually realized I kind of need to hurry up and get some of this recording done. So I'm actually going to probably go back and actually really seriously edit this down, but I want to finish going through some stuff I'm doing. Right quick, we're going to go ahead and this is under File and Export Video. Let me make sure I got this file saved before I go any further. But File, Export Video, and I hit Control M, which is the quick way to get to it. Now, for the most part, on all of you, I don't have to change up much, except for this. I wish I could figure out how to change this from being 36 down to 16. And the reason why I want to change this is because if I leave it at 36, the picture quality will come out terrible, very pixelated. 16, I've heard tales between 15 to 17. Some people say as low as 20 you need to go to keep good quality. 16, I don't know if that's the original one I found, but it's the one I go with. And as far as I can tell, I don't notice any video loss or quality of video loss. So I'll export this, and this is Krita. Now I always tend to like add a bunch of zeros before my one. Two, I think it can be 2 or 3, don't matter. And that's just because, boy, why is my, well, I don't know why my hotkeys keep getting hit on my thing for, but it is just so that I can, if I have to do any other videoing, and it looks like me rendering at this time is kind of slowing some of my stuff down. But because I'm noticing my avatar's movement is very sluggish. So I learned something new. Trying to record and render a video at the same time must eat up a lot of resources. But like I said, I render this, and this is the central video. Now, this is where I'll come and I'll get the clip for the beginning when you see that little gray me in the gray box. I get that, I create the rewind, and we'll cover that. That's basically the intros. And so we'll cover that once this thing's done. Let me pause and stop everything and see if that will fix some of the problems and come back. Because like I said, I'm moving very sluggish, and even I see my stuff jerking around, my avatar jerking around. Plus this may be slowing down my render time too, so I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're kind of back now. I had to do a few little alterations because having my VC face, OBS Studio, and the thing rendering was going to take a while. I ended up just going in and just doing a clip of the, cut out a clip of the thing to render so we can continue on with this, because I am a bit on a time crunch right now. So I'm going to just pull over the video file I had. Now, normally when I do a clip, and I'll just find a section here and I'll just simply click this. We'll just clip that right quick. Ripple delete. Delete that. Okay, I'm going to actually export this thing out as a clip right now and probably see how slow everything is. I always type everything clip, just hopefully the files don't ever get crossed over. And while I'm clipping that, I'm actually going to pull an audio file up I got. Okay, now that that's clipped, now I'm going to actually delete that off. I'm going to actually bring this back in. I'm going to actually unlink this and delete the audio. And then I'm going to bring in this clip of the rewind sound you hear at the beginning. Here I'll change this. I'll reverse the image, and somewhere around about 1,000 speed is what I go with. A lot of times, bring this on over. Actually, I want to unlink that. I don't need the audio. It's one of those free sound effects you can kind of get for things. That's where I got this from. And let's see. I usually want to get it right where it goes from me doing something to back to my default screen. And let's see, we'll probably cut that there, and there. So ripple, delete that. And then I'll go into here. I'll come down to stylize and pixelate. And don't ask me why the vertical and the horizontal are so different in numbers, but I usually do about 150 there and a 150 there. That way it kind of gives a little bit of a pixelation, but it's not, you can still kind of notice where everything's at. And I'm just going to sit here and I do another render. Export. And this is the rewind. And you'll see here in a second why I name all these files every time I do it this way. I'll come in to open projects, and I got one right here. It's called intro. No, I do not want to save that. And as you can see, I got a couple things that are missing because the last file I worked on, I moved the folders when I'm done with them. I move them to a done folder so I don't clog up my work area. And so here I'll come to replace media link, and I'll just click on the clip. Same thing with this one, replace media link, and click on the rewind. Now zoom out here for a second. That way I can kind of see where everything is at. Now for some reason, when I sometimes import it, it won't always, it will, like I said, for some reason it cuts off the beginning of the thing. So for some, I don't know why it don't do it. So let's just do that. Let's try to pull it out, make sure we get all the beginning. Okay, that's the beginning of the clip. Let's see, make sure we're at the end. I'm going to pull these on back because the reason I do it this way, because as you probably see, the video already comes in as a edit thing. So like as I bring this here, I click over here, you see you don't have all the edit. This way I don't have to keep going in and doing all my adjustments each time. The rewind ain't quite, you don't quite need to do that because I already did the editing in the other program. But far as this, it already goes in. I don't have to change, to keep going and adding in some of these. I'm trying to see where, maybe if I click actually on the file itself, we can actually see. See, I got the hue saturations. That's basically, I think all I've done was just added the hue saturation plus the size, the positioning and the size and the scale of the image. This way, I don't have to keep retyping in all this information and to keep looking back what I'm using. If I just keep this file the same and I just keep importing in the new one, it does everything for me. All I do is just go in and edit this down. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and render this out. And the reason why I render this out and I type it as intro is because when I go to do the actual final version, it cuts down on less work the program has to do all at one time. Plus, if I need to go back and make any edits on anything, I don't have a huge file I have to work with. I can work individually. But being able just to sit here and render the stuff as is, and so when I go to do my final one, all it has to do is pretty much render the whole thing together. And I can see everything slowing down. I want to see something. I think I saw something earlier. Does that help? No, it don't help much. I think if I stop recording OBS, it kind of frees up. But it was running sluggish earlier, even with me stop recording. So I just, like I said, did a clip. And I just go in, do a new project. No, I don't want to save that. I don't want to mess up what I previously has thing. Go back to the file that I had this stuff stored in. And so here, I will bring in the intro clip. Then I'll bring in the actual creative file of the video itself. So when we do this number, text, it just switches on over. And then when I go to render out, remember 16 and always, because the thing, I'll click on this, I highlight the numbers, and I type final. And that is pretty much it for how I do most of the editing for my videos. Now, looks like my, what do I keep clicking on? Let's see, is that A? Yeah, no, that's A. I don't know what, every time I come to do this, why I keep hitting one of my, emotion keys for. When I go back and edit this, I might have to see if I could tell me which key I'm hitting, because I thought, because like one time it was joy, I'm like, what? Oh, wait a minute, I see that. Ah, so that's it. Command keys, for my, no matter which program I'm on, if I hit a certain key, it's going to actually do something with whatever program I'm on, as well as VC face. I learned something new today. May have to see if I have to rethink some of my command keys to do this. But I think I just learned something interesting, because I hit J. Ah, I didn't know J played backwards. And hit it twice, it goes. No, each time I hit it, it's like it goes faster. So I learned something new today while showing you how I edit my videos. So now you've learned some stuff from me that I learned today. So, point taken. Command keys that I use in programs can affect VC face command keys if I'm recording while I am working in those programs. Note taken. Also learned that the J key does a rewind play function in Olive Video Editor, and hit it twice, it speeds up. Now I just got to find out how, other than the space bar, to play forward, and what happens can I speed up, because that is one thing that kind of I wish was I could go play sometimes the video a little faster, and I may need to look up and see if there's a way to do that. I just haven't gotten around to looking that up yet, because that would save some of my time of editing. I might just go around and hit keys while I got this up and see what key does what. But that's pretty much all for today. Hopefully you've learned something new like I learned something new. If you wish to support the channel right now, please like and subscribe, and share the video with anyone you might think can benefit from this, or find it interested in this. Well, I hope all of you have a nice day. Well, hey, I forgot to put out my green screen for that last part. Let's bring my green screen back up, so at least you can see the channels that I'm on. Well, hopefully all you'll have a nice day.